everyone. So if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving full of family and good food and time to practice gratitude. I had an amazing Thanksgiving with all my family, some delicious food. My fridge is stuffed with leftovers that I think I'm even more excited about than I was last night. I don't know if you're like me, but I love leftovers. I know some people don't. But anyway, so this morning I started out with some yoga, which just felt so good after a night of drinking wine and eating a lot of delicious food. So if you're like me, you know that kind of feeling in the morning and you're like, oh my gosh, what all did I eat? You know, and so it kind of inspired me to do a video on how to stay healthy and sane during the holidays. I wanted to make a video about just maybe more like how to stay balanced during this holiday season, because that was basically just the start of the holiday season and now it really begins, right? Especially if you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah, there's just lots of food and gift giving and drinking that happens. So I just wanted to talk about some of the simple practices and routines and habits that I've incorporated into my life, especially during this time, to keep me and my mind and my body healthy and balanced. Yoga is my first tip. I absolutely love yoga because it's not about punishing your body. I have found since incorporating yoga, my body just feels so much better and leaner, surprisingly. I love videos like the one that I did this morning. It was called A Yoga Rinse by Yoga with Adriene. I'll put a link to that down below. So there's lots of twists and just like getting all those organs like rinsed out and just helping kind of like your body's natural detoxifying systems like kick it in the morning. So I love doing something like that, especially to the deep breathing. So relaxing, calming. It's all about self-love. I am just drinking some water. I'm gonna have this full glass of water. I had another full glass before I got this glass. And then I'll have some coffee and then I'm gonna have a good breakfast because I'm getting hungry. I wanted to show you what I've been putting in my coffee lately. So I've been going for just a dash of maple syrup and also a dash of vanilla rice milk. Now rice milk is unsweetened, but it's naturally sweet and I love just like a dash of vanilla flavor. So highly recommend it if you're looking for a new coffee combo that isn't too sweet, but this is delicious. So I just do a little glug of that. Try not to get it on the side like me. And then a little dash of the rice milk or two. And then get our coffee. So good. One thing that I've been doing lately that I think has really helped with my digestion and just feeling better in the morning and not like full and kind of icky, if you know what I mean, like if I ate late the night before. One thing that's been really helping is kind of doing a little bit of intermittent fasting. I'm not really into like the 16-hour feeding window or like 24 hours of not eating and fasting, but I do think it's helpful to at least give your body 12 hours not having to process food, because digestion takes up so much energy in our body. And when we're digesting, we can't do cell repair and we can't get that beauty sleep that we always want. Basically, if you eat at dinner at 7 p.m., don't eat breakfast until 7 a.m. So give yourself that 12-hour window and truly break your fast in the morning. So that's really hard if you go to a later holiday party and the food isn't served until later, or you still snacking throughout the night. So what I always do is I never try to get into a restrictive mindset, but I really try not to just go with those normal times for breakfast. I'm like, oh, it's 8 o'clock, I have to eat breakfast. Instead, I really ask myself, am I hungry? Am I truly hungry? And the way I do that is I drink 2 glasses of water, drink my coffee, obviously, and then give myself like 15, 20 minutes and just say like, okay, am I truly hungry? And that has really helped me. And some mornings I've waited until like 9, 10 o'clock, and then I'm really hungry and I have food. So get in tune with your body and try to really listen and see if you're hungry. Now, if you have to eat something first thing in the morning, just go for something light and then pack something bigger to have with you later. What I try to do, especially if I've felt like I've overeaten the night before or just had, you know, like a really heavy, like yummy holiday meal, I try to do like a 14-hour fast. So last night we finished eating around like 7:30. So now it's 8:40. So I'm probably going to end up eating around 9:30. So there's like an extra 2 hours that I gave my body just to like, whoosh, you know, like just let all that good food that I had last night digest so that it's ready for some good food later and I'm not like overstuffing it, if that makes sense. I can't decide, well, I think I have decided what I want for breakfast. I've been making a smoothie bowl every morning since I've been on a little Thanksgiving break. I just have like 5 days straight off, which is super nice. And I had a bunch of bananas that were really super brown and I'm like, yeah, making smoothie bowls. So I froze them. And I just love smoothie bowls because I love, versus a like drinkable smoothie, because I think you get fuller from them and like you take more time to eat them. And I like all the toppings you can put on. So if you haven't tried a smoothie bowl, you've got to try it. You can get so many fruits and vegetables and nutrients in one meal. It's amazing. My bowl into the dining room today just because I'm feeling fancy. I don't know. And I'm gonna grab a cookbook to look at instead of watching a YouTube video or watching TV or something like that, just because I think I'll be able to be a little bit more mindful. I wish I could like just eat and just focus on food, but I like to have something like visually to look at. But that's one of my tips, is savor your food, because then you're gonna feel full and you're gonna feel satisfied. Okay, so I am done decorating, and that brings me to another tip that I have on a day that you're kind of bouncing back from maybe overindulging the day before, and that is to get up and moving and do something productive, do something fun. Don't let it bring you down. Get up and do things that are going to bring you joy. For me, I knew I was really excited to get Christmas stuff done today and get all decorated. It makes me so happy to see all the twinkling lights when I come into the kitchen. I know it's like the little things, but yeah, that's what makes me so happy, and it gets my mind off like anything else, like not feeling great or whatever. My other tip is to get outside and get some fresh air if you can. So we're probably gonna take the dog on a walk here in a little bit and get moving. That always helps your body feel better and just gives you a burst of energy to be in the sun, hopefully if it's sunny out. I think during the holiday season, we have a tendency to be very hard on ourselves. If you are someone who is really trying to stay healthy, and maybe you're new to like the health and wellness or even a plant-based lifestyle and new to fitness, new to nutrition, can be really hard on yourself when you're faced with all these indulgent foods and, you know, just lots of days hanging out, laying around. It can be really hard to make the quote unquote right decisions. And if you don't make the right decision, be really hard on yourself and punish yourself for that. And one thing that I've really been trying to do is get out of that mindset, and some might call it like a dieter's mindset. So when I first started learning about health and nutrition, I did total like calorie restriction, and it was no fun. And yes, it does work in the short run as far as weight loss, but that mindset that you get into really stimulates overeating habits, binging, and then restricting, and that's just no fun. Something that I've been really inspired by lately is the Food Psych podcast. So if you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, whatever I'm sure she's on like every podcast, but it's called the Food Psych, and she's a registered dietitian, but she teaches the health at every size approach. So I love listening to her because it gets me, although I am all about preventative health and wellness and eating whole plant foods and doing great things for your body, I'm not about weight loss anymore like I used to be in my early 20s. I've just tried to work on shedding that mindset of constantly thinking about pounds equaling health, because they don't. And so I've really been enjoying listening to that podcast. It's not a vegan podcast or anything, but highly recommend it if you think that message would really resonate with you and you kind of need some inspiration. Another thing, if you don't listen to podcasts, her philosophy is pretty much based on this book called Intuitive Eating. And I haven't been reading it like a whole lot, like haven't read it cover to cover or anything, but I have just been kind of looking at the table of contents, and then I'll read like a passage here or there just when I want to. Like there's a really good quiz in there about what kind of eater are you, little things like that. So if you're into that sort of thing, like I love that kind of stuff. If you're into that sort of thing, it's a great book to check out. I think I got mine used on Amazon. I'm sure you could get it at the library too, but I'll leave a link for it down below. Yeah, so those are my tips for bouncing back and kind of doing a little detox the day after a day of overindulging. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your comments and questions below. Let me know if you have any tips as far as things that you do the day after a day full of overeating that seem to really help you kind of bounce back. I would love to know, and I'm sure others would too. But again, the point is, it's not about punishing our body. It's about practicing self-love and doing things that make us feel good, and not focusing on our behaviors and being super hard on ourselves, and just knowing if there's a change that we want to make the next time, we will. But it's the holidays. It's about love, loving ourselves, loving others, giving to others. So I just kind of wanted to start off the holiday season with that message. As always, let me know what you think. Like this video if you want to see more like it, and any requests for future videos, let me know down below. And yeah, I will see you next week for another video.